Good evening, my local drones. It is I, Bio Gundam, and I'm back again for another video. So today, me and Kaiser and a new guy. Is it Period or is it Period Pete or
Periodic Pete?
Periodic Pete. Yes. He is the Heisenberg of YouTube channels.
I'll take it. I'll take that. I'll add that to my list of nicknames.
Yeah, honestly, when we do this video, I might just have you as like Heisenberg as like the introduction. But anyway, so we got Kaiser and Periodic Pete.
I am the one who reviews.
Yes, we got Periodic Pete. So today, we're doing a podcast of Yu-Gi-Oh! And today we're going to be covering Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. Now, due to time constraints, and also all of us having busy schedules, we weren't able to watch the entire show. So if some of our memories are a bit hazy or we get some details messed up or confused, please understand we weren't able to watch the entire thing. But we were able to watch or rewatch a decent chunk of it, and you know we have the Wikipedia as a guideline just in case we forget.
Yeah, we can just like make this a whole thing about like season 1 and maybe touch on season 2 later.
Yeah. We're mostly gonna be covering like season 1 and maybe broadly cover season 2. But for the most part, so gentlemen, introduce yourselves.
Yeah, I feel like you did a pretty good introduction. I am Periodic Pete, the Heisenberg of YouTube. What's up? And I just make videos about whatever I want.
Yeah, and of course, as always, I'm Kaiser Shounen, and I somehow lucked my way into getting 1,000 subs. So that
actually, Periodic Pete, you are selling yourself. What about the fucking greatest comment, greatest comment ever you got?
Oh, yeah. So,
that's true.
I occasionally make minor banger videos, and other times not so much. And one of them was a video where I talked about the Mary Sue trope in writing, and a guy came straight into my comment section and was gonna show me what's what, and I couldn't understand a word that he was saying, but I was so philosophically and morally just absolutely mind blown by whatever the fuck ideas he was saying that I decided to make a video about it, and everyone loved it. And now he is the new philosopher whose ideas I build my entire life around.
By the way, I am gonna link that video down in the description because I think everyone should see it.
Yeah, it's really funny.
And also link the and also link his video about is art objective, because I think that's one of definitely his best videos. That is criminally underlooked.
Currently my longest video, so be warned, it is roughly 2 hours. I actually don't remember how long it is, but it's at least 2 hours, and currently my longest video, but we'll see how long that stays that way. Not naming names, but so Kaiser knows what's up.
No spoilers. Oh my god.
I don't know nothing.
Yeah, so anyway, anyway, we're gonna have Periodic Pete here because I figured that you know, having a third guy around would be useful for these podcasts, and it's just not me and Kaiser jacking off to Yu-Gi-Oh! Especially when we get to the good shows.
Yeah, I will be the tactical, emotional support of this team.
Yeah, it's but we're also taking Periodic Pete here on Yu-Gi-Oh! Rich. I guess we're taking Periodic Pete on a journey. I'm looking forward. Let's see if we can get past like Yu-Gi-Oh! From 5Ds or like GX, where like the main character fucking broods and ignores like the hottest chick in the school. Oh my god, he's brooding. It's so hot.
Well, I've at least seen enough of
Listen,
like,
all right, Chase. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Not continue, Kaiser.
But by the way, though, chase card games, not women.
Sigma male rule number 25.
It's they call that the Kaiba grind set.
I can't wait. The Kaiba.
He's the inventor of that grind set.
yeah. I've got some shit I can show you guys, but let's do that after the cast. But yeah, I think Pete here is going to be a wonderful addition to these Yu-Gi-Oh! Casts. It's going to be great. Anyway, so today we're going to be okay. I'm a professional. Okay, so back to the topic at hand. So today we're going to be covering Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. So who wants to like introduce what the show is about? Like just to start off.
Probably be best to be one of you guys. Since you guys finished the first season.
All right, guys, take it away.
I do that. So okay, so in an alternate like Yu-Gi-Oh world that doesn't take place within, you know, the first three, the same world as like the first three Yu-Gi-Oh. You know, it's very high tech, even compared to 5Ds. And we follow our main character Yuma Tsukumo, who lives with his sister and his grandmother. Which, by the way, a Yu-Gi-Oh protagonist with a relationship with his family, that's fucking whack. Well, aside from Yugi and his grandfather, I guess, but you know. But yeah, Yuma is a shit duelist. I mean, a shit. But of course, when he encounters a magic being named Astral from a memento left behind by his missing parents, because of course they're missing.
Listen, you can't have the parents stopping the hero from being a hero of justice. Like, but Ma, I've got to save the world from evil using card games. No, I'm sick of these stories about this pharaoh. They don't exist, Jimmy. But Ma.
Oh my god.
The anime is just like how Yugi perceives like his world, but like in reality, he's like locked up in like a mental institution someplace. Like, but the pharaoh, I have to help him learn his name.
And like Seto Kaiba is like the doctor, is the psychiatrist. It's like, so Yukimoto, tell me more about this pharaoh.
Is this pharaoh in this room with us right now?
You're a first-rate quack with a third-case mental disorder.
Oh my god. Anyways, though, but it does take a little bit of, actually, speaking of the amnesia angle, this does take a lot more inspiration from the first Yu-Gi-Oh! In terms of their dynamic, because the whole goal is for Yuma and Astral, because the whole goal is that Astral came to, you know, this
Earth.
world, and Yuma is the only one who can see them. But like the issue is that he doesn't have any of his memories about who he is or what he's supposed to do
or what he's here for, and I think they kind of build builds up investment, right? Because he doesn't remember, so you're like, I mean, it kind of I mean, they have it less so with the Pharaoh, right? But with this actual thing, you can be like, okay, what if he does get his memories back? Will he go evil, or is he a good guy? Like, what is he here for, right? Because that's kind of the question. Is like, because what was his mission here? Because he was sent here for a reason, right? But he forgot because he's got amnesia. So that's like, they're already right off the bat. It kind of gets you drawn in because you're like, oh, wonder what he's here for.
Yeah, and it sets a pretty decent goal with collecting each of these very special monster cards
called numbers.
The monster cards are called the numbers, and each number card has a piece of Astral's memory that they're trying to piece together. And yeah, that's basically the show. There's some twists and turns and all that stuff, but you know.
Yeah, and I think the number card collecting, like, yeah, it is a bit like an excuse for plot, right? But it actually gives you, like, a good reason for why there's, like, random duels, why they're dueling random people all the goddamn time. Because, the thing with number cards, too, is they can often, like, take over their wielders or something like that and make them go crazy, so...
It also gives them super strength, or, like, other certain... Because, like, I remember the episode of, like, the tag duel between Yuma, Shark, and, like, those other two guys. I remembered either in one of those two episodes when Shark was, like, listening in on their plan to rob the that one place. Fucking one of them just like kicks down a gigantic metal door off of its hinge, just like right off the bat. And I assumed that wasn't something like he could do off the bat.
There must be like the Oxycontin they stole. It gives them super strength.
Yeah, it couldn't be the supernatural these cards or whatever. No, it's gotta be like some drugs they're on or something.
Listen. All it takes is pull-ups, sit-ups, and lots of
100 sit-ups, 100 squats, 100 push-ups, and a 10-kilometer run. Do it every single day.
Like, speaking of that, like, some of the physical feats that Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonists can do is pretty fucking crazy, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that, from what I understood anyways, was just that, like, that's what the cards were, like, doing. Because, like, at least those particular episodes for that tag duel, the way that, I have to pull up, like, some of the lines, but it gave me kind of the impression that they do give people, like, powers that maybe we aren't shown explicitly. Because, like, the two guys were like, oh, we're already super powerful, we can, like, go rob a bank. And I think that was the first time that they ever introduced, like, the fact that, like, these cards were in some way useful outside of just duels themselves. But, like, really the only
I mean, that concept is not an alien idea that like these cards take on attributes or give people abilities outside of duels. I mean, not to spoil like okay, not to spoil some things. Like in 5Ds, there's these things called psychic duelists. They can literally just summon like all they do. They can just make card effects real by just placing their cards on duel discs.
I've seen I've seen pretty much like all the shows before Zexal. I've just like Zexal is the only one that I'm unfamiliar with because that's when I fell off the well, really anything Yu-Gi-Oh.
You should watch Vrains. It's good.
Yeah, and like even in the context, yes, but as you probably guessed from like me and Bios talk about it, the second third of the series is
a slog.
But anyways, though, speaking of like the way things are structured, how do you guys feel about the way the plot's structured?
I think the first season for the plot's actually structured very well. Like it kind of starts out like random people. Yuma has like some moments of doubt. We find out I think it's like Dr. Fake, the plot between like Dr. Faker and that I forget the guy with the mask. What was his name? I think his name was Visk or something like that. Or let me go grab the wiki.
Well, in the dub, his name is no,
or someone
the
else.
other guy.
Beatrix.
Oh yeah, he didn't get that far.
No,
there's another antagonist that shows up in the middle of the first season. In the dub, his name is Vetrix.
Yeah, Vetrix.
And in the sub, his name is Tron. Which is gonna be a struggle for me, by the way. I rewatched this in sub because fuck rewatching this show dubbed. It's so terrible.
Yeah.
That was back when 4Kids was still dubbing these things.
Oh no.
Which really makes me like kind of curious to see how the dub of like the post Zexal anime have been, considering that like 4Kids was no longer around.
I took a sneak peek at like how they dubbed Vrains and
oh no.
No.
Oh god.
No.
It's bad. It's bad. It's like I saw some clips of it and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna watch the sub. Like, okay, like with some Yu-Gi-Oh shows, like the dub isn't too bad, like GX and 5Ds, despite the censorship, right? It's not actually bad. Like I think like they have some pretty good voice actors that I think they do like most of the voices pretty well. I think for Jack in the English dub, okay, I like the voice, but I don't think it fits Jack. Like he's a bit too Cockney.
Yeah. The accent is
I gotcha.
It's very.
I think they nailed Yusei very well though. Like,
yeah. Yusei's voice is perfect. Oh my god, Yusaku's voice in the dub. What the fuck? It's so bad.
I know.
So bad.
I am Yusaku. I am a human being.
Hello.
But they actually did that.
Hello, fellow duelists.
Yes.
Hello.
Let's play a children's card game.
That's what he actually sounds like.
Unironically.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, so we'll move on off the plot in a second, but like speaking of the dub, I didn't think some of the voice acting in like Zexal, at least the dub wasn't too bad. I think Kite and Shark were okay. Yuma, I'm like,
Okay, Yuma's is the worst part of it.
Yeah.
They were. And
like his voice is really fucking nasal, like a little nasally. Like his voice is a little white and whiny and nasally, and I'm just like, ugh.
That and also like some of the stuff in like his dialogue that they changed in the dub, which I mean, it's for kids. Not saying that that's an excuse, but like the what did you guys think like when they changed his catchphrase from the sub into "I'm feeling the flow," or at least I think that's what it was.
Yeah, it's because in the sub, it's I'm gonna bring it to him, which I guess is more like a Japanese specific expression, which I don't really I think I like feel the flow better because grammatically and like contextually, aside from the cultural angle, I guess, it just doesn't really make sense as a phrase that communicates what he's talking about.
Like here's the thing, it sounds better in Japan, like it would sound good in Japanese, but in English, like, probably not so much. So, I can understand that, like, I don't mind the catchphrase, I can see why they did that. Like, listen, I'm not the, this may be controversial, right, but I'm not exactly the biggest fan of certain, practices in the localization community, but I would say that this one's fine. Like, it conveys the meaning.
But, yeah, but, like, speaking of the changes, I don't know whose decision was it to just, I know this is a regular 4Kids thing, by the way, but like the music in Zexal, in its Zexal sub, is so goddamn good.
Yeah.
And like I rewatched a couple like clips and episodes of Zexal's dub, and like the music just doesn't fucking stop. They don't know when to shut the fuck up. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's funny you said that, right? So I recently got my hands on some like some of the original like Digimon subbed, like Digimon Adventure subbed and Tamers and that type of shit. Like the difference in like the use of music is like way different compared to the dub.
It's night and day. It's night and day. Like, not only is the music at them the tracks themselves are just better, and not just, you know, random fucking air horns and synth music or whatever, but it's like they actually know when to just shut the fuck up and stop doing this to us, please.
Yeah. The opening for the sub is a little bit jazzy, isn't it? It's been a while since I watched the opening. I think I remembered like it being.
I don't think so.
Maybe I'm thinking of like something else.
I don't think it's really open. Yeah, you might be, but like the openings, of course, are pretty good.
Okay. Can we all say that like the second ending theme is pretty good though? Longing Fraser or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the one that you linked?
Yeah, it's good.
Sure
yeah, it's the second opening of season 2, right? It's the season 1. It's the second opening of season 1, well, English. Because that's when like Beatrix and like his sons come up as well.
Yeah. But like I think this is where I need to probably talk about the biggest thing people are gonna ask about. My biggest contention, well, that people's biggest contention with the show. What do I think about like Yuma as a protagonist compared to the other? And okay, as far as season 1 goes, I think Yuma is decent for what he is. Because I think that the early parts of season 1 don't really do him any favors, and even some latter portions where he is supposed to be the comic relief. Like, he's supposed to be Jaden if Jaden had way less going for him in terms of as a duelist and as, you know, in terms of maturity.
Yeah, he does kind of come off as like discount Jaden minus the skill or like the swagger with the bitches. Like, you know, he needs to get that drip.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, basically.
Like,
swaggerless Jaden, yeah.
Which I mean, at least, you know, makes him stick out a little bit more compared to like the other protagonists.
Yeah, because like, you know, Yugi had drip, Yusei has fucking drip up the like if you want to talk about characters who have drip and swagger.
Yuma's design. Is
I
probably the worst of all the.
Yes, they are. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I wasn't even like talking about it in terms of design. I just meant like his skill as a developer starting off and then just continuing onward. And it also just like putting him at that lower point early on kind of like gives you something to look forward to later as he does improve.
I mean that's the good thing about. I mean that is one of the good things about Yuma, right? Is that we are seeing like a character growing. However, it is like here's the thing. I don't particularly like Yuma very much. Like I understand what they're going with his character. Like I understand. Like I'm not like saying that he's a bad character, but like I don't really particularly like his character too much. Like
he's not great.
No, he's not great.
I think also like well, not even in terms of like getting into character just yet, but just on like the topic of him starting off like as a really shit duelist, and then even I feel like that was something that wasn't executed as well as it probably could have, primarily because like they don't just make him like a bad duelist, they make him, well, I think maybe this is more so like just the show's general eternalism in the earlier episodes when like they try to explain like every little thing about like the show that really anyone who's seen any Yu-Gi-Oh series before this would already know. Like in the first,
it's like the dude is, it's like the guy is brain.
It's like he's on training wheels.
That he would be this bad,
but like and it's so it's so weird too, like why you would have him be that bad to the point where like you actually need to explain what happens when a monster with a higher attack value attacks a monster with a lower attack value in the first episode. Like why you would want to set up your character to have that like be something that needs to be explained, or even just really is explained at all. When again, this is like the 4th series in the this is the 4th
so here's the thing, right? Like okay, like say like it's taking a lot of elements from like original like the show is taking a lot of elements from Duel Monsters, right? It's like even Yuki Moto wasn't that bad at the card game. I mean, he wasn't great, but he wasn't like as bad as Yuma is. Like at least he knew how to play.
Yeah.
However,
and I mean,
I feel that at the very least, I feel that at the very least, this gives like a much more, like a much better through line and sensible. Like while I was looking at the show and Yuma's progression as a character throughout season 1 and everything, because there are a lot of good moments with his character, I keep thinking about back to like, you know, the differences between Yuma and Yugi's progression, where okay, with Yugi, the whole purpose in regards to development in the original Yu-Gi-Oh is the dynamic between him and Pharaoh, where it's like the Pharaoh is the guy that Yugi wants to be, because he already has like the pieces to the puzzle to be a good, not only a good duelist, but also much more confident person. You know, have some kind of.
And here's the funny thing is that Yugi does become that. Like he doesn't become the Pharaoh, right? But he comes pretty close to it. Like
but he doesn't have the guile and confidence that the Pharaoh has, and that's the thing that's supposed to grow throughout the series. And but I don't feel that in the original. I guess this is a hot take. I don't think it was done all that well in the original Yu-Gi-Oh. Just given not only how bland Yugi was as a protagonist outside of the Pharaoh, but also the little amounts of moments where we get to see him shine and incorporate aspects of the Pharaoh into himself. At least with Yuma and Astral, it actually feels like a much more even dynamic. Both characters learn from each other. I honestly got the sense that is going on.
Yeah, like it's kind of like, unlike say with Yugi and the Pharaoh, where it's a bit like a big brother kind of like it's like a sibling relationship, right? Like with like Yuma and Astral, I get the impression that both of them in some way don't know what the fuck is going on, and they're trying to figure it out. Like, you know, like Yuma sucks at card games, but he has an idea what's going on. Astral doesn't know what the fuck is going on, but is great at card games. So, you know, together they complete each other. It's like yin and yang.
Thing about Astral's backstory, but quite convenient that this alien from another dimension knows how to play a children's card game from our world.
Yes, it's oddly convenient. Oddly, very convenient too. But, you know, we call that a plot convenience. But anyway, so we'll cover more Yuma. Yu-Gi-Oh naming conventions, right? So let's just cover the story. What did you guys think about, okay, so we covered the random duels. What did you guys think of, like, Kite as a character? Like, his little, like, revenge arc against Beatrix? Because, like, when that shit happened in the show, I was like, oh, okay, I'm interested. This is, like, fucking discount Kaiba.
So, well, I'll say what I can, because, like, I haven't gotten nearly that far, so I can't say a whole lot about him as a character. But, also, is it Kite or is Kaito? Is it Kaito? Because, like, that's...
I think it's Kaito, but it's Kaito in the dub, but we'll just call him Kite or Kaito.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wait, it's Kaito in the
just
dub,
say Kite,
too?
because that's what... No. It's Kite in the dub. It's Kaito in the sub.
Oh, I must have a fucked up sub, then, because it's spelled Kaito in the sub, too. Alright, well...
no, wait, what? No.
What?
Wait,
no, that's fine. That's his name. His name is
Kaito in the sub.
Oh, I thought you said it was Kaito in the dub.
No, it's Kite in the dub and Kaito in the sub.
Okay, so I must have audible dyslexia then, because I heard
Join the club. Join the club.
Anyways, my point is, so, because I'll just start off since, like, I probably don't, like, I have the least to say about him, most likely. I think, like, just, like, having this kind of character, well, actually, there was one thing that I think was, since I can't really say a whole lot about the character, I guess I'll say this about, like, just the general concept of his introduction, how he is a number hunter, and there were aspects about, like, how he was set up that, I think I told you this, Kaiser, in a previous conversation, but, there were, like, aspects about, like, his general setup as a number hunter that were interesting to me that I don't think are gonna go in, like, the way that I hope that they were, not to say that that's a bad thing, but, so, like, the concept that is that, like, he is able to trap another number user in, like, this time displacement kind of place where only he and other people with number cards are able to, like, still exist within this, you know, kind of pause time space thing. And then he uses that not only to identify other number users, but also to duel them, in a way that is inconspicuous from, like, the rest of the world, and he will, like, trap them with this fancy schmancy dual disc kind of grappling hook thing, and tells them that they can't leave unless they finish a duel. Which, I guess the first question I had about that was, like, if, like, there is a range to, like, that kind of thing. Because, like, imagine if, like, this number hunter is having, like, a duel with someone miles away, and then, like, every other number, user just all around the world happens to notice that time just stops for absolutely no reason. And I assume that because, like, that's never happened to Yuma, I'm guessing that it's, like, a range kind of thing where, like, you are only,
I think there's an effective range.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, like, what I've been told that they say that, like, number users aren't affected, but, like, clearly there must be a range where, like, a number user could be affected by it, because, like, otherwise Yuma would have noticed time being displaced at least a couple different times since he got Utopia or Hope, I guess they call it in the sub. So I assume that, like, but it doesn't really matter. This is just, like, speculation about, like, how this stupid power works. But the main thing thing about it that like interested me was the concept of like what happens if Kite puts someone in this time displacement realm, traps them, says duel me motherfucker or you can't leave, and they just say no. And like, because like, even though Yu-Gi-Oh is a show about
wait, you're saying in a Yu-Gi-Oh anime that you can just say no to a duel?
What? You can just say no?
What?
Yeah, well, yeah, I know that's a law or anything,
no,
so I can dream,
on.
Kaiser. Let me dream, okay?
A boy can dream.
But like, I feel like that would be an interesting kind of bottle episode. Just Kite meets this number user who is unlike the other users, who just may not even have a deck, may not even like duel monsters in general, and just ended up with the cards some way. And instead of like dueling him, Kite has to like just talk with them, and maybe you learn about like how more about Kite as a character as he's like trying to solve this situation in a way that is unlike how he normally solves these kind of problems. And also it's just kind of interesting in general to think about, because you know the obvious threat of course being that, okay, you're in this time displacement and you're not allowed to leave, so you know the first thing is like, oh well shit, if I'm just stuck here, like I'm going to die, like I'm gonna starve to death or something because I'm just stuck here with this guy. Although of course the same also applies to Kite, so really at that point it becomes like a battle of attrition in a sense, which kind of makes the whole concept even more interesting. But it also makes you realize that the only way for you to get these number cards is through a duel, because if that wasn't the case, Kite would just be killing these guys.
Yeah.
If he could just take a number card off of someone after they die, I'm sure that he would just do that. And like I feel like in this hypothetical bottle episode, that would be like an interesting reveal of like, well, I mean, if I starve to death, you just get the number, don't you? And then there's the realization, oh, but if that were true, you would just kill me, so you have to duel me in order for you to get this card from me. And then they continue the bottle episode from there. Of course, I knew that they weren't going to do that. It was just kind of like interesting to think about more than anything.
Yeah, that'd be quite dark.
I mean, it really only gets dark if like you have them actually trying to, you know, do an actual battle of attrition, as opposed to like the concept I'm presenting is more so just Kite has to try to talk this guy into giving him the card. Otherwise, he just lets him go because there's nothing he can really do. But yeah, like
it'd be interesting though. But
and I kind of like just
concept-wise.
Sorry, I keep interrupting.
That's fine.
No, Kaiser, go. No, I gotta use the bathroom anyways. You say what you're gonna say, Kaiser. I'll be right back.
It's all right. Yeah. Since I finished the season, though, I think I like Kite a lot. He is definitely like a better rival than the ones in GX. I think overall he probably has a much better arc than Jack, from what I remember about like the later portions of his character. I think Kite is definitely a really good rival whose arc and goals definitely tie in much better with Yuma and just like the route that the story goes.
Okay, but I would say
when they kind of have this whole theme about like, you know, revenge and the cycle of all that shit and how it affects like those left behind and things like that.
Yeah, I think he's an interesting character for like that angle. I mean, listen, he can't beat like the trifecta of good, but like I would say that Kite's at least on the top 5 list for rivals.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the best ones. I really like, for example, the scene where a lot of his character has to do with his attachment to his brother Hart.
Yeah, that's why I say in a way he's a bit of like a discount Kaiba, because Kaiba had that same thing as well. As like, yo, total ruthless badass, but you know, threaten his family members, he comes down to you like a sack of bricks.
Yeah, but he actually cares a lot more, which definitely gives the story a lot more, you know, heart and focus to it. Especially when the other the secondary villains come in. Vetrix and his
sons.
Spoiler. And you know, shakes things up a lot more on top of that.
Honestly, I fucking love. I think Vetrix and his sons, and then like that whole tournament was actually like where I got like really interested in the show. Especially when you find out what's underneath like Vetrix's mask. Like it's so fucking creepy and fucked.
Yeah, I think the duels at that point got really good
and intense too.
This is Vetrix, right? The guy you posted.
Yeah,
girl,
boy,
guy.
Yeah,
okay.
Vetrix. Yeah, guy.
Yeah,
he got turned into a troll
his
again.
Voice, yeah, his freaking voice in the dub, by the way, is so bad.
Yes.
Like, Pete, imagine a villain who's like, I'm I'm going to destroy you, Yuma. It's like that. That's what he sounds like.
Give me an episode that like he appears in. I kind of want to like hear this.
Oh my god.
Give me like an episode he appears in. I want to hear this. If you can think of one.
Hold on.
All right, I'm holding on.
Find it.
I can't hold on much longer.
Need a hero.
I'm holding out for a hero.
Oh my. But yeah, I think Kai is a very, very good foil to Yuma in a lot of ways. He isn't really like super meme worthy or fun like a lot of the other ones.
Oh yeah, that's right. His fucking face. I remember seeing that. I'm like, Jesus Christ, God damn.
Yeah, but yeah, this episode is the episode where him and Yuma duel near the end of the season, and it's like his voice is just.
Oh God, I'm listening to it now. Oh no, it's like
It's like if Chucky had helium.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill you. We represent the Lollipop Guild. The Lollipop Guild, we want you.
It's like Cyrus Truesdale. It's like Cyrus from GX suddenly lost the voice crack and tried role playing Kaiba or like some other like rival or some shit. It's just
Listen, he can't beat the OG English dub Kaiba. Like that dude is like amazing.
Oh no, you.
True. Yeah, you can't. But they could have tried a lot harder with this guy because in the sub, he sounds incredible. He sounds great.
No, in the sub, he sounds menacing as fuck, man.
Yeah. For example, there was this scene. Oh, sorry.
No, go. I'm pulling up like his.
For example, there was this scene. During the tournament arc near the end of the season, where, you know, he's basically trying to mindfuck Shark, one of the secondary protagonists of the show, who is
and another rival.
Okay.
I mean, Shark's okay. I'd say he's less interesting than. Okay, he has stuff going on like with his sister and shit, but like, I would say he's less interesting than Kai. Like he just like he's a cool character. Like he's got a bit of that delinquent edge to him, right? But I think Kai is better and cooler. Continue.
He is, but I think it has to do with the fact.
Yeah, Kite's got a bigger TR. As much cooler.
Oh my god! Well, his is a dragon. His Sharks is like a
dragon.
Sharks is like a big shark monster thing. Yeah. So like, there's a scene where Vectrix was mind fucking Shark in order to mind control him, and it was made incredibly. Much more menacing in the sub in comparison to the dub, because I feel like I remember the sub being all like, yes, let Big Jaws or fucking whatever number card take control over you, Shark. It's coming for you. It's like he says that over and over again. It's so annoying, but it's made actually much more menacing and threatening in the sub.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for bleeding anyone's ears in that demonstration. I'm very sorry.
You could never match the absolute unadulterated cringe of the original, so you don't have to worry about that. That is
you didn't blow my fucking you didn't blow my eardrums out completely yet. Oh yeah, I do want to talk about like the fucking tag duel between like I think Yuma and like Yuma Kai and two of his sons. I forget which ones it was. I know it was the puppet guy. Like no, it was Quattro and was it Quattro and
it was 3. I forget what 3's name in the dub was. Oh, Quattro and Trey's, I think.
Yeah, Quattro and Trey's.
Quattro and Trey. Yeah, that duel was really good.
I thought the dub didn't do a too bad job of it because like Kaito sounds so angry as he's summoning like galaxy-sized photons. Like I'm gonna fucking kick your ass, Quattro and Trey. I'm gonna get revenge. I'm gonna want to get. Oh yeah, I think we forgot to mention that like Dr. Faker, who's also one of the main villains of season 1. He's the father of Heart and Kite. So he's like no, so Kite's like no. Fuck you, Trey and Quattro. I'm gonna get revenge on my dad. Fuck you, stay out of my way. Grind set.
I
think that's another interesting angle.
Faker. I think you're the real Dr. Faker here.
Well, that's the funny thing is that all 3 of them have like the exact same goal, but Kite's like, nah, fuck you. I'm the one getting revenge. Get the fuck out of my way.
So, actually, I don't mean to derail too much of what you were gonna say, Kaiser. But just a quick question. So, Dr. Faker is Kite's father, you said?
Yes.
So does that mean his full
Yes.
name is Kite Faker?
Yes.
That's
No, I think it's like Tenjo or something like that, or something like that. But like, I think Dr. Faker, like the Faker part's like a nickname. But like, yes, Dr. Faker is his dad.
well, I'm gonna call him Kite Faker from now on.
Kite Faker, Heart.
I'm gonna call him Faker Jr.
You know, that could be your character in the Kamen Rider RP game. It'd be Kite Faker, who's an average kid.
Sorry,
Mr.
Kaiser, didn't mean to interrupt you with
The best
What were you
best
saying
American
earlier?
Kamen Rider ever. He's this bland, generic Asian American kid named Joe Faker.
Joe Faker.
Joe Faker.
No, we're gonna say a gangster like he's Faker.
Secondary,
He's-
yeah, not to be confused with the secondary writer, Joe Mama. Okay.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, that's
like,
Kite's mother.
So it's
Full circle.
So, like, it's an interesting angle that they were going to with season 1, where compared to most other Yu-Gi-Ohs, because I don't remember there being other Yu-Gi-Ohs where like there are two concurrent like antagonists sort of fighting against each other, other than maybe 5Ds. I think 5Ds had a bit of that.
Yeah, they, I think they did. But like with Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, here's the funny thing is that both those antagonists, like it's like a three-way battle, but two of these factions have the same goal.
Yes.
and instead of like an enemy on my enemy,
Yuma is all like, "What the hell is wrong with you people?"
Yeah.
and Kite's like, I'm on a vengeance kit, and Kite's like, nah, man, I'm taking my dad down. Get the fuck out of my way, Quattro.
He's like,
Yeah.
I just found this number card. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Kite's like, you need more motivation, Yuma. Get revenge. You need more power.
Oh man, Kite.
Yeah.
Kite and Yuma. Shut up,
Ash-
Yuma.
Astral may cry. No, Yuma, no, wahoo.
Astrals may cry. But like, what was it? There are some scenes from Yuma that I do like. There was this one episode where it's like, okay, to preface this, the whole thing in regards to Yuma's parents and sort of how their absence plays a role in the story is that, you know, Yuma takes a lot after his dad, Kazuma, who is essentially like, what was it? An adventurer, kind of like a, you know, an Indiana Jones knockoff, essentially.
Yeah. Didn't he go to like another world and then met up with like these 3 girls in a fantasy world, and then he became the Duel King? That's how that show went, right?
Oh, shush. I know exactly what you're doing. Shush. But like, what was it? There was there was an episode, because his whole thing is that both of his parents are missing, and it's been referenced especially throughout the first half of season 1 a lot. So there was this whole episode where Yuma needs to go to like, it's like parent teacher day at his school, and it's all like, yo, you don't have any parents, and he's like,
He does have his hot older sister though.
I mean, yeah, he does have his sister and his grandmother. But the issue is that they got their own things going on. He doesn't want to bother anybody, and like Yuma is just hopelessly optimistic almost all the freaking time. So he's just keeping it to himself, and we actually get a lot about like what he thinks about his parents and their role in his life and how he shaped his life after what he says, and basically saying himself apart from a lot of the other characters in the show, putting the themes in motion. I think that was pretty nice.
Yeah, but don't we also find out at some point that like Vetrix is also a friend of his dad as well, like Yuma's dad?
Yeah. Which I guess that would have to fit, because they had to tie Yuma's, you know, parents into the whole.
Like, I'm pretty sure there's a. I may be misremembering it, but I'm pretty sure there's a scene where Vetrix says, like, you know, Dr. Faker's the reason why your parents aren't around anymore, or something like that.
Yes, yeah, there's that. But like, of course, since the whole thing is about vengeance being bad, okay, you know, vengeance is bad. Okay.
Yeah, didn't you play last
all
one,
like,
I don't know. It worked out pretty well for the Count of Monte Cristo. I'm just saying. He got away with it. 100% scot free.
well,
not entirely scot free, but he didn't get arrested for it.
Yeah, and in Ganketsuo he gets killed for it. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah.
But anyways, though, like that, you know, this sort of sets it kind of has the show kind of has a theme running through about like the sins of the father or the influences parental figures have in producing like the good and bad cycles and habits that like their children have, with like Dr. Faker influencing his sons, because Kite has a sort of like Zuko-ish relationship with Faker.
It's definitely like antagonistic to a certain degree.
Yeah, definitely. And there is Vectrix with his kids, where like he basically made all of them incredibly psychotic because he was betrayed by Faker. Long story short, he became a child because he got thrown into the world between worlds, like in Kingdom Hearts, and he became just insanely twisted and lost a lot of years of his life because of it with his kids. So he just kind of...
Yeah, because all his kids are like late teens to young adults. Like I think most of these guys are like in the early 20s to like late teens.
Yeah. Well, I think Trey's might be the same age as Yuma. He might, from the looks of it anyways. And so maybe it may be Quattro because of the whole thing with Shark. Then again, adults can also be in these competitions, so who knows? Oh, wait, no, it's not Trey's, it's Trey. It's Trey. Okay, I get it. Oh no, Trey is 15. Yeah, he's 15. Quattro... he's 17.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, like I thought. And then Quentin,
the oldest,
5 in the sub. Yeah, the oldest, I believe. Yeah, he's 20. So they're only 2 years apart from each other. Kind of like my brothers, me and my brothers. But like, yeah. Also, I will say though, I do not lie. I kind of like the angle that they were going with, like his relationship with his kids, where it's all like they're all being used by him in order to get revenge. You know, he's kind of subsuming their autonomy in order to get what he wants, even though he cares about him. I will say though,
I would say that like he cares about him, like maybe like deeply cares about them, but like he's been so fucking twisted by revenge and vengeance that like as far as he's concerned, like yeah, his sons are pawns for him.
Yeah.
If one of them dies, like who gives a shit?
Yeah, but although near the end of the season, they're all like, oh, they're all good people, and I could say that about kind of like Trey and Quentin, but Quattro was a piece of shit.
Was he the puppet guy?
Like Quattro, literally, yeah, he's the puppet guy.
Yeah, he's kind of a jackass. I'm not gonna lie.
He made Shark an outcast and unable to duel ever again, and put him on this track to being a shitty person. But also kind of sort of like injured his sister, which granted we find out later wasn't his fault, but like the fact that he took pleasure from that was a little Yeah, I understand what they were trying to do though, where it's all like, in the back of his mind he understands that it's sort of like wrong to do, but he was so focused on helping out his dad and trying to get him back to being normal again, hoping that his revenge would satisfy it, that like, it kind of put him completely on the wrong track. But they could have done that with him a lot better, because after his duel with Shark, they wanted us to really feel bad about him, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah, it's another thing about this anime that's actually interesting is like at least for the first season, how interconnected all the characters are with all this main shit going on. Like Yuma has some connection to this, yeah. Shark has a connection to this, Kai has a connection to us. Like I like how like interconnected it is, and how it's not like it forces the character to go like, oh, let's go kill Dr. Faker, right? But it's kind of like it doesn't feel like they're just randomly stumbling upon this, right? Or it's like Destiny said so, right? Like it's like no, you guys have personal reasons and stakes for why you would get involved in this conflict.
Yeah. Like it's not like they just kind of.
Yeah. And I like the trolley problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not like everything just happens to like happen because like that's what the show says happens. It's like there's actually connections between these different kind of characters, or at least like based on what you guys are describing. I have no fucking clue because I haven't gotten that far.
When it comes to season 2, when it comes to season 2 shit, which we will talk in a bit, I would say a little less so based on what I remember and watched, but I could be wrong. It's been a while. I mean, I could already catch up on so much, but like that's what I really like about the first season is that like it's all like kind of it's very tightly packed and connected, and it feels like a lot more personal, at least to the characers, because you'd be like, man, this Dr. Faker is a real fucking asshole. Like, holy shit.
He looks like a fucking asshole.
And it's also funny that it actually leads to season 2, but we also find out that Dr. Faker may have been influenced or possessed by another character, which we will talk about soon.
Right. Well, to be fair, in that case, he wasn't in season 1. He wasn't possessed. He wasn't. He made a deal with the Baryons in order to do what he's doing.
Okay, so position came like later. Okay, got it. I may be misremembering events.
No, it's okay. But I do think that I think structurally wise, I think the show as a whole, it's very streamlined compared to a lot of the other Yu-Gi-Ohs where it kind of feels like incredibly random.
Yeah, like Yu-Gi-Oh GX, Yu-Gi-Oh GX has that problem. I think 5Ds has that problem. Like once they get to like the third season, like after they beat like Rex Goodwin and shit, like the third season just kind of feels like jigsawed in. Yu-Gi-Oh with Yu-Gi-Oh GX. It does feel very jigsawed and like things start to make sense a bit more when we get to like season 3. We find out like more about what the fuck Jaden actually is, but you know, or Judai, whatever the fuck you want to call him, right? But at least in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, I would say that like the progression and structure of this is actually quite smooth, and it doesn't feel like they're just hammering in random shit in and making it make sense. Like no, like if you watch the entire anime, like a lot of this makes sense. Like you can see like the connections and the fall through line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think though that I think Zexal for the most part, it's better structured. It's a better structured GX, and definitely has much more consistent quality, but almost none of the real highs of. I think that's the thing about that.
Yeah, like GX had some pretty good bangers. Now getting to season 2, right? So we learn about these things called the Baryon Worlds, and Yuma meets a totally not suspicious space cop who wants his assistance to defeat the Baryon Lords. But oh, by the way, don't tell your friends or anything like that. You know, that's totally not suspect. I mean, well, actually, in Yuma's defense, it's probably like it seems like perfectly reasonable.
Yeah. By the way, I'm going to plug in my charger to my laptop. There's gonna be a bit of buzzing. I'm going to mute myself when I'm not talking. But if you hear buzzing in the background, that's why.
That's fine. Yeah. When it comes to Baryon Lord shit, I thought the conflict between like Baryon World and Astral World was a bit interesting, right? And we learned a lot about like Astral. I can't really comment much because I haven't finished the entire arc. I think the reveal that like Shark and his sister were actually Baryons the entire time, but they didn't know, was quite cool because like for the first time for Yuya, like his enemy was his actual friend, and I mean like a friend, not like a fake friend that Ray was like trying to fuck with him.
It does put him in an interesting position compared to, you know, most of the time in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where a lot of like the antagonists are kind of bad from the start or antagonistic from the start. But the only issue I have with it really is just that there wasn't any foreshadowing to Shark or his sister being Baryons at all, you know?
Yeah, here's the thing, like, and from what I remember in the show, right, like, they're kind of, like, reluctant that they're doing this, but they're like, no, wait, we've got to save the Barrier World, and Astral World has to die. And the Astral Worlds are like, no, kill them all. He's put in such an extreme scenario, and it's like, his enemy is now his friend.
Oh, by the way, though, before we go any further with season 2, though, it's Pete. Any particular duels from what you've seen that stood out to you?
Like just favorites in general. None that like necessarily like stood out to me in particular, because I mean I've also like fallen off of the card game a while back, so it's as far as like just the kind of duels and stuff, not like there wasn't like any that really stood out to me in like any negative kind of way. They were fun, kind of interesting.
I mean the train duel was pretty funny.
I am kind of like, I don't know, and I'm not saying this in like a negative or positive way, I literally do not know how to feel about this, but like that they made a lot of the duels a lot longer, or at least the earlier duels in this series longer than like earlier duels in past series, where like previously you could get through like a duel in the span of a single episode, whereas here, now that could also be because in the first part of a lot of these kinds of two-part duels spends a good chunk of the episode setting up the just doing a lot of setup before the duel actually starts.
Yeah, like they setting up the conflict.
Yeah, because like on the one hand, me personally, and maybe this is blasphemy to say about a Yu-Gi-Oh series, but I feel like...
Nah, go ahead.
Personally, I'm a lot more invested about the stuff that's happening like outside of the duels themselves. A couple months before I started watching this, I had finished going through a a series called Queen's Gambit, which is a story about chess, and you do not need to know how to play chess to, you know, get invested in it. You don't need to like really know a lot, like even a lot of the chess games themselves don't have like a lot of focus on them. That's not to say that like I think that's what Yu-Gi-Oh should do, god no. But like it is kind of proof that like you can have stories that have like these kind of like you can have like these kinds of games or like shows that are centered around like these kinds of games, like Sector
and Victor We Cross.
Yeah, you can have like so much more, even like when you're not invested or like really know a whole lot about the, you know, what's going on in those games. There's still a lot you can do with like the characters in and outside of those kinds of duels themselves. So that's not like the duels themselves. I was mostly just kind of like indifferent about them. I didn't really have like a negative or positive kind of opinion towards them.
Kaiser.
Kind of like that didn't give you like the answer.
Yeah, that's fine. Hot takeaway.
It's sort of like a yeah. I think that's a similar thing where I'm at with it, and maybe it's because I was spoiled on, you know, the first half of Reigns because it was so freaking good.
Honestly, maybe doing Reigns first was a really bad idea because it's like, man, this is so good.
And if anything, like sorry, I'll let you finish. I keep interrupting you, man. I'm so sorry.
I mean, we interrupt you. It's fine. It's the interruption cast.
Right.
Kaiser, am I gonna have to rock paper scissors you?
Nah, bro, you guys are gonna have the duel. Okay, Period Pete versus Kaiser.
All right, so we'll play a children's card game, and whoever loses has to go first. Let's go, Kaiser. I challenge you to a duel.
This is gonna last 2 episodes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna come back on the next stream when we'll finish up the duel between Kaiser.
There's probably gonna be a few months time, but like at the rate I'm going, we're probably not gonna have another Yu-Gi-Oh cast until probably like I don't know, like October, November.
Yeah, no, trust me, a duel with me would probably be really short. I run Gravekeepers, so.
Oh no!
Right.
Which actually, can I like talk about? So like when I saw the episode that talks about Shark's past and how like he was, you know, cheating, looking at like someone else's cards and stuff. I love that scene so much, like not only just because like it was about the character, but also because every single one of those cards that appeared on that table was a card that I ran in my deck at one point or another. Skill Drain.
So as you,
and what was the fourth one? Mirror Force, I think, or was there a fourth one? But like,
yeah, it was Mirror Force.
Yeah, so like I like to imagine, like in my mind, I was like, oh shit, Shark is copying, cheating off my deck or something. It's just kind of funny to think about.
No, when you watch the show, you're like, wow, Shark is literally me.
Yeah, Shark is literally me. Nah, Shark wouldn't be.
Well, no, that's Quattro. Quattro is literally you, man, because he's the one with the deck.
You actually see the guy who ran that deck? Oh, please tell me there's a Gravekeepers guy in this. Oh god, now I gotta like get caught up. Please tell me someone runs Gravekeepers in Zexal. Oh, yeah.
So here's the thing.
Don't crush my dreams.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay. So when it comes to like the season 2 conflict, we forgot to talk about a major thing. Astral, the dark matter shit with Astral becoming evil and shit like that, like the evil shit that happens. We forgot to mention that.
It only showed up a couple.
Yeah, it only showed up a few times, but like it was treated like as important in the narrative. What did you guys think about? I mean, Pete doesn't know about this, but what did you feel about like the dark matter Astral corruption shit that was going on a little bit in the show? I thought it was okay.
I thought it was. I mean, it was fine. It was a sort of like momentary kind of antagonistic thing. It was interesting the first episode where that came up, where it actively possessed Yuma, and like, you know, his friend Bronk had to duel against him in order to get him out, and they ended up tricking him. Yuma tricked the guy possessing Astral in order to make a play that would basically give his friend the opening to win. I thought that was really cool. They did kind of undercut it by having it be Astral's idea, but
yeah. Now, I do need to balance in, like, say, 30 to 40 minutes, because I've got, like, stuff to do, but, well, we could chat a little longer after that, because I've got some shit to talk about, but, let's just move on to the characters and the art and music, and then I think we'll start wrapping this up. So, when it comes to, like, Yuma as a protagonist, and this is in general terms, I'll start first. He's probably my least favorite Yu-Gi-Oh protagonist so far. That may change depending on, like, when I see Sevens and what and the other, like, Yu-Gi-Oh shitters, but, like, So I don't hate Yuya as a Yuma as a. Here's the thing. Yuma's type of character is just not my cup of tea. I don't think he's bad objectively or anything like that. It's just like I personally don't really like him too much as a main character. Like he's not as bombastic as say Jaden is. Definitely less mature. He doesn't have like some of the more interesting stuff that like Yuga has in like Arc V. So
yeah, I think well there are some interesting aspects to Yuma, and he does get better later. I don't believe he hits a lot of the great highs that a lot of the other protagonists do, but he also doesn't have all the really
he doesn't have the lows,
horrible downfalls with a lot of like the bad things you can say about him is that the jokes in Zexal aren't very funny when it comes to him most of the time. They kind of lay him being bad at duels a little too thick. His dialogue isn't all that great, and that's pretty much it. But other than that, at least his story isn't completely disappointing like Yuya's was. At least they didn't make him like completely like bland in the second third of the show like they did.
At least in Yugioh Arc V, at least in Zexal, they don't build up Yuma to be like the Antichrist and then have him like fizzled out in an episode or two. Like that's the thing I hate about Arc V, right? Is that you build up your character and it just goes like wah 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 wah.
Yeah, Pete, what do you think?
Yuma?
Share your hottest take. Yeah, about him as a protag.
Yeah, it's gonna be as hot as the meth you sell.
Yeah, I mean, like, I already told you a bit about, like, just it's not even just, like, the general, like, his character as a whole. It does get better, thankfully, like, at least in relative terms. Like, I don't think it should have taken nearly as many episodes as it did for him to get less annoying than he was at the beginning. But that's only because, like, the first season is 73 episodes. So, like, a lot of episodes, doesn't comprise, like, a whole lot, proportionally in the whole series. The main thing that I don't like about him, like I said earlier, is just like because he is, I'm fine with like, characters who just, aren't very good at the game, but like a character that is so bad that they complement this very patronizing kind of structure to explain like all these kinds of rules of how to play as if, this were the first Yu-Gi-Oh series ever, but it's not. And
if anything,
what I hate more so about the character is just that it plays into that very paternalistic kind of setup early on.
It kind of like insults it's kind of like insulting the viewer's intelligence, because like when I was a kid, right, like even I could follow the rules to a certain extent.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it would have been better if what they did was that the issue isn't that what makes Yuma bad at the game at first isn't necessarily that like he doesn't know what a fucking trap card is or when somebody is putting up a trap. It's that he built his deck in a way that they only have very simple solutions to strategies, and people take advantage of that. If they did it more, and they kind of try to do that a lot of the time as well, and those times are way more believable. But if it was more so about Yuma, because the most important thing that separates, somebody who's decent at Yu-Gi-Oh and somebody who isn't, is just what kind of deck they are able to play, right?
Actually, speaking of that, what did you think of like Yuma's deck? Because I thought Utopia and some of his Gaga monsters were pretty cool, but like his deck is a little bit of a clusterfuck. Like it's very cookie cutter.
It is, and it does fall into a lot of the situational type beat stuff that a lot of the other protagonists do, but it isn't as bad as say as like Yuya's, because at least Yuma's has mostly an identity, like less than halfway in to Zexal. His deck has an identity. Builds his monsters so that he'll be able to not only exceed summon, but make a bigger number that does a lot of damage. That's his shtick. And you know what? I understand that. I can vibe with it. There are a lot of these really situational cards he freaking gets like every episode, but fuck it, whatever. but it's not as like exhausting. I think the issue is, again, it's just that, and also like his personality isn't terrible, but it's not very endearing at all. It doesn't have like a lot of great aspects to him. He's just okay as a Yu-Gi-Oh protag in my eyes.
Yeah, like I think that's my yeah, like that's kind of like I'm kind of like the similar idea, right? Like he's okay, he's passable and serviceable. Speaking of other characters,
yeah, he's the McDonald's of Yu-Gi-Oh protags.
Yes, he's the McDonald's. That's a good line. So what do you guys think of like the characters in general, like just overall compared to say like some of the other Yu-Gi-Oh shows? Because I think we got some pretty decent like some. I think there's like a few characters that are like fairly decent in the show. Others are kind of like yeah, whatever.
I'm gonna be honest, man. Aside from Shark and Kite, worst cast. Well, okay.
Hey, it's funny. I was going to have that same opinion.
Aside from Shark, Kite, and Yuma's family, and maybe the grandfather and Orbital, worst cast.
Yeah, so
most bland cast, anyways.
So it has been a while since I've seen like the original Yu-Gi-Oh, but there is a lot about it that like sticks in my mind because of like just how nostalgic I am for that in general. And I remember watching through some of the early episodes of Zexal and thinking about like how some of the characters were portrayed here and how they were, and just kind of like in my mind comparing them to like what I remembered about the original series. And I thought to myself, like maybe when I got to the point when I was about like 15, 17 episodes in, and I saw like all these other kinds of side characters like you're gonna have to forgive me because I forget so many of their names. The fat one, the one with the glasses, the one who says that
the cat lady, the cat girl,
the cat girl, and then the teacher. It's like I thought to myself, was there like because if you remember, like in the second episode of the first season,
okay, Pete, here's a good hey Pete,
Joey Wheeler, the fucking deuteragonist of the whole series, jumps off a fucking cruise liner just to get 5 trading cards for his best.
Okay, Pete, here's a good scale if your anime is good. Do you remember the character's name?
Well, that's not a good scale for me because I don't remember anyone's name.
Okay, here's the thing. I can name characters from brains. I can name them from Yu-Gi-Oh. Here's the thing. I can.
Who are you guys, by the way? You're Bio and Kuzer, right? Bio Gundam and Kaiser Shounen. That's your name, right?
Yes, he's the Kuzer. He's young Kuzer.
Kuzer.
He's coozing.
Look out, he's about to cruise!
he's cruising for wussy.
Cruising up. Time to cruise him up.
Okay. There has to be new slang. Coozing. I'm coozing for wussy or something like that. Like, that's gonna be a new catchphrase.
But like, so I think back to some of the early episodes. You had like, I think of like some of the memorable kind of like episodes, like when Joey Wheeler first got Red Eyes Black Dragon. I think about like the just some of these other kinds of stuff that happened. I think that there was like maybe also like a mini conflict between My Valentine and Taya.
Yeah, they're having a bit of they had a bit of like a catfight going on, and with like Mai and Joey, there's like a bit of sexual tension there.
Yeah, and I think about like, and then so as I was thinking about that, I was like, is there ever a moment that's like any of that here with like any other character?
No.
And I'm like, no, there really isn't. Like the glasses guy, especially with like the devil haircut or whatever, like he especially feels like really out of place considering that his motivation wasn't even like, I don't even think he was like mind controlled by a number card or anything. He just wanted Utopia.
He's just an asshole.
He was just an asshole who wanted Utopia and just, I don't even so. I don't even know why he's a recurring character. And
do you know what's funny about the whole cast? The funny thing is that like, unlike say like other Yu-Gi-Oh shows, most of the cast should just be there. Like here's the thing. Here's how you can tell if an anime is good or the characters are good. You actually remember their name. because we remember because they have the personality, but they also do crazy shit. I mean, Joey Wheeler, as you said, literally jumped off a fucking cruiser. He could have died.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like if you like there was
if you jump into water at a certain enough height, like water's like fucking concrete. Like if he did that wrong, he could have broken his entire bones and drowned to death or got eaten by sharks. Like
it's not even just that. Yeah, like you said, because there was like a thing in the news that I saw like maybe a month ago or so where a kid who like graduated college jumped off like a ship as like a dairy, like got actually eaten by sharks.
Okay, do you want to hear a fucked up? Okay, you want want to hear the story I heard? Okay, so I heard this on like the Joe Rogan experience, right? But he talks about this police officer talks about this guy, right, who's chasing this dude in Florida, and the dude's like drunk driving. They're at like this bridge, and underneath is like a river or something like that, like this deep like flowing river. The dude like jumps off the bridge.
Of course this happens.
Okay, here's the fucked up part. This guy, I think it was like Florida or somewhere. I think it was Florida. I might be getting the mix wrong, but it's Florida or somewhere where there's like a lot of gators. Probably Florida or somewhere like that, or a state like that, right? He jumps into the water and just conveniently happens to land on a fucking alligator in the water, and like the dude just gets ripped the fuck apart. And the cop just like looks down. And he's like, It's close, I guess. Like fuck.
Yeah, it's just
Like basically, this dude just happened to land on top of an alligator, and well, you know, alligator angry, death roll, and it's just red.
But like the fact that Joey Wheeler, you know, going back to Yu-Gi-Oh, the fact that like the most that he got out of that, you know, was just a cold for like a couple episodes, and that was like the worst of it. Is just, and the fact that he did that just so he could get these 5 cards. It's a children's card game. Like obviously the show doesn't treat it like that, but like
yeah, Joey's a fucking mad lad. Like the guy
sticks out to you, and it makes you think about what his friendship.
And it didn't take like
is.
20, 30 episodes for something like that to happen. This was something that happened like so early on that established that kind of when they duel each other.
Yeah, I mean, in other Yu-Gi-Oh shows, they kind of have moments like this a little bit, probably like less so in future shows, but like, you know, Vrains has moments like this. You know, 5Ds have moments like this. You know, GX has moments of this. Like, you know, like memorable shit like that, and it makes you remember the characters. Like, oh, you know, that's Cyrus, that's Alexis. Oh, that's Jack, that's Crow. Like, you actually remember their names because they have personalities, but they do crazy shit like that. It's like, you know, I'm gonna fucking jump off a freeway in my motorcycle, or I'm gonna like risk my life to save this chick. You know, like just
not to say that crazy things don't happen, but in regards to the characters in Zexal, but it's just that it's not really as endearing
or memorable.
So few and far between.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I could say is about Yuma's sister. She's pretty cool, and she had a couple good episodes. In fact, there was an episode, right, where her old flame came back.
Oh yeah, that episode. That's a good one.
Yeah, and what she did was, long story short, Yuma and her friend and his friend Tori, who is basically Taya but somehow worse, or at least more annoying, kind of duels on like a train with a guy who has a number card that's literally based on luck. It's the luck card.
Yeah.
So it's Joey Wheeler.
And
yeah, it's sleazy Joey Wheeler.
You didn't tell me Joey was in this.
Well, yeah, but this Joey has way more Riz, so I would say that. Anyways, though, so the duel was ending, but the train was still going. You know, the train was still going insanely fast, and they couldn't stop it. So what Yuma's sister did was that, and she has a motorcycle, right? So what she did was that she ran towards the freaking train on the tracks, and then just like throws the freaking motorcycle at the freaking front of the train, and it slowly comes to a stop.
I mean,
I'm all like, what? How the fuck did that not get
it
was moving fast, by the way. Actually, let me see if I can find that episode though. But yeah, that's very few things aside from the things that the rivals have done, obviously, that like just really sticks out to me, and you don't really get that with
that's the I think we've talked much about the characters. Actually, what's your guys' thoughts on Astral, just briefly before we move on to other stuff and wrap this up?
He's cool. He's fine.
Dynamic with Yuma. He has some funny moments. But
I like it. I like his kind of dry humor he has, like fish out of water shit. Yeah, it's quite fun.
Ask him about like how the toilet works.
Yuma, why are you interested in girls? What is this? Yuma, what are these images I'm seeing? Stop, Yuma.
Yuma, where did babies come from? No, Astral.
Oh yeah, there was that time where he was trying to look at Yuma trying to take a shit.
Yeah, that's the.
Yuma, what are you doing? What is food? What is cry? Oh god. Okay. Well, let's move to art and animation, and I think we'll just wrap this up. Because yeah, sorry this is a bit shorter compared to the other ones, but like we had time constraints and shit. Hopefully the next one will be a lot more organized and better.
Yeah, we can, and like next time maybe we could talk about like world building a little bit bit more because I think I have more stuff to say about that than anything. But
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a lot more to say about Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds because that show is great.
Yeah,
okay.
And it definitely has way more world building aspects.
Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to like the art and animation for like Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, I thought it was like feeling decent. I thought the CGI wasn't too bad. Any disagreements?
Yeah, I think it's definitely. Yeah, I thought no, I don't think I disagree all that much with it. There may be a couple monsters where it's like the CG is not all that great, but overall, I do believe that the art and animation is decent for what it is, and definitely set the pace for like the newer age Yu-Gi-Oh animation. It definitely has a lot more effort and love put into it than like the second third of Reigns, the latter portions of Arc 5. It's much more consistently good, and all the monsters look really cool in the effects and everything. So I think it's definitely decent. Definitely one of the better ones of the series. But it kind of gets into the modern anime problem where everything's really, really glossy and shit. But
Yeah. So
I didn't really have a whole lot of problems with like the animation either. It was pretty good. It was pretty standard, kind of like stuff that you expect from Yu-Gi-Oh. Besides like maybe one time when like someone I want to say like this was maybe during the duel with like the guy who was the soothsayer guy or whatever, who was like the guy who like kidnapped.
Oh, I remember that guy.
Yeah, there was like a moment where like he had an animation where like he had the dual disc at his side and like he maybe like whirled his hand around because he was doing this like, oh, you activated my trap card or like some shit, and then like immediately later they played the reverse of that same animation just after he finished talking, and it just felt like a little bit jarring when I noticed it. But like besides maybe like one or two other instances like that, the animation was fine.
Yeah, I also liked I think this is
the
probably
art style isn't all, and now the character designs are hit and miss though.
Oh yeah, like okay, I don't like Yuma's art design. I like Kite's though, it's pretty cool though.
Yeah,
Kites is fine. Sharks is okay.
Not sure how I feel about like the tiara haircut, but like it's funny to laugh at. But yeah, besides
hey, it's not as bad as like the hairstyles from fucking Shiki, man. Like you want to see like crazy anime hairstyles, like watch that show.
I like to imagine that like because of how big Duel Monsters was and how like that Yugi when he became like the king of games was just like this huge inspiration for just pop culture in general, and then everybody tried doing like variations of his haircut, and that's why everyone's haircut has like multicolored kind of shit like that. It's just everyone was trying to do their own iteration of the king of games hairstyle.
I mean he is the king of games and the king of games, so
True.
I mean, true story.
But yeah. Music's great, as I said before.
Yeah, okay. Out of most of the Yu-Gi-Oh,
this one track. There's this one track in particular called "Brilliant Strategy."
Yeah. And when it comes to like OP and ending songs, I think there's like maybe like one ending I like and out of this entire show. I mean, like the music's good in the show, but like I just love Longing Fraser, right? Like it's just a really good song. Where the fuck is that? I'm trying to find a picture for fucking there's this fucking like meme picture for 5Ds I'm trying to find because it's really funny. Yeah, I think that's just art and animation. Music's good. So ending thoughts on Yu-Gi-Oh. Does anyone else have to say, or should we move on to ending thoughts?
Actually, I wanted to say one thing. Like while we were still talking about like design of like certain characters, I actually like kind of liked Shark's design in particular, just because like the color scheme, it's not like so blue. He is very much like when you look closely at his design, it like you can see this guy being someone who plays like fish type or like water attribute kind of cards, but it's not something that is like so in your face about it in terms of his design. You have like his hair that kind of curls in a way that kind of makes it look like waves. He's more purpley, so like there's still blue there, but it's not like ocean blue, so again it's not totally in your face. And he's got like a necklace that kind of looks like a shark tooth. It's like you have like these little bits of pieces there, but it's not like totally in your face, like Shark is the only thing to like his personality, but it's still something that is like there and in his design. And
I mean, I think him using sharks and stuff like that is also part of it, right? Part of like the delinquent motif, because he does what the fuck he wants. He's not doing like warrior types. No, he's gonna do like fish monsters or something like that, which is a bit out of the box.
He's a lone wolf. He's a bad boy.
I mean, a lone shark.
Yes, quite literally a lone shark. Where's this fucking meme? Trying to fucking find it because it's really funny.
Yeah,
I'll find it later.
all.
Alright, Ending 4 is about Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. Compared to like other Yu-Gi-Ohs I've watched, this is probably like one of my least favorite ones. I'm sorry. If you like Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, like I can see why people like this, but this is not my cup of tea.
Yeah, it's
Definitely.
it's okay. And like I've been very like I got some other stuff that I could probably say about it. I feel like I've been very tame as far as like the kind of criticisms that I have for it. I think, although if I can say one thing about it, is it has kind of made me want to revisit some of the older Yu-Gi-Oh anime.
Well, it's great that it's done that because you know, for the next couple, like probably next year or so, you're going to be like watching all of the old ones and then probably the new ones too. So buckle up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so, like as far as like Yu-Gi-Oh goes, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal's like average from what I've seen so far, and I've watched most of these, so it's serviceable, it's passable. Hey, you can have fun with it, but for me, it's just kind of painfully average.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. And I guess for the most part, that's all it wants to be, which is definitely more I can say than freaking Arc 5.
I mean, at least with Arc 5, you could say they're quite ambitious. They just didn't know where to take that ambition.
Yeah, much like a show that me and Pete is very, very familiar with, but you know.
Oh, gee, I wonder what you're foreshadowing.
I'm wondering.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's the.
Am I thinking of what you're thinking of? Are we thinking of the same thing?
Maybe.
This is the video that I'm working on. Or are you talking about something else, Kaiser?
I'm talking about the rubles. The rubles.
Oh yes, very familiar with the rubles.
Alright, that'll be all, folks. This is Bio Gundam signing off, and see you guys next time for the next cast. So bye bye for now. Bye bye.
Yep.
Have a good one.